Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off with a French woman pleads her innocence, talking about how this lady's trying to plead that she didn't do anything in collaboration with the Germans, so she doesn't lose her hair, because they would shave it. We're now on to The Mail Gets Through, and a GI is happy. August 1944. Keeping up the morale of a fighting man. No question about the morale of this fighting Marine. He wears an ear-to-ear grin after hitting the jackpot at mail call outside a fleet post office somewhere in the Pacific. The mail call was the first held following the seizure of the island, and this devil dog really came up with full quota of letters. Yeah, you can see he's got a big old ear-to-ear grin. He's got all those letters. He's probably like, oh, they're thinking about me. It's probably nice, you know. Some of these guys maybe not get any letters. Maybe you only get one. But he's got a whole host of them right there. It's probably like about 10 or 15 letters right there. A British gun and a German gun train. August 1944. New British howitzer in action. A gun crew is shown preparing to fire the 7.2 howitzer against the Germans along the rocket coast. The gun weighs 10 tons and fires a 200-pound shell up to a range of 16,000 yards. The tires are 5 feet 6 inches in diameter. Below, all that remains of a German train gun, or gun train, my bad, as found by the Canadians at Montreal in the advance to the city of Boulogne. So yeah, first off, this thing, it is freaking massive. Look at the tire compared to that guy. Tire's almost as big as he is. That's crazy. And these guns would, obviously, they would take out quite a bit. They're mostly artillery. Long-range artillery. Pretty effective. And the train guns, those things are kind of interesting. So they're kind of an evolution of World War I tactics. So in World War I, they would have armored trains. Basically just trains with artillery that were super armored up. And they would fire, move, and then whenever they were, responded to, they would have already left, so you wouldn't hit anything. But yeah, the Germans use them in this war. I think they have that one that I can't remember the name of it, but it's ungodly huge that it never really did anything. That's always just a goofy little waste of money. Japanese atrocities on Guam. August 1944. Some live to tell. Before they were wiped out, Japanese soldiers retreating on Guam wrought vengeance on the peaceful natives in typical brutal fashion. At the right are two Charmo children being treated by native nurses for wounds received when they were bayoneted and left for dead in a bomb crater by the fleeing Japanese. Above are the bodies of a group not so fortunate. These natives, with their hands tied behind their backs, were driven into the jungle, bayoneted, and beheaded. One war correspondent counted 42 bodies of Chamaros who had been disposed of in this fashion. Having failed in 2 years of occupation to gain the respect and loyalty of the Chamaros, the Japanese killed as many as they could before their own resistance ceased. Yeah, the Japanese commit some real bad atrocities during this war. It's kind of been brushed aside, and part of that is the fault of the United States. They shouldn't have let this go, but they did, to a small degree. We wanted Japan as an ally in the Pacific, so their punishment was light. But a lot of the things we were really hard on Germany for, On Japan, we were a lot lighter, so it's awful. Awful. But it's nothing we can change about it now, sadly. Japan will never apologize for this stuff, and they don't have to, but they should. They won't even admit sometimes that it even happened, which really unfortunate. But I hope these people at least had, the people that survived at least, had better lives afterwards. After the Canadians entered Fali. August 1944. Some rebuilding needed here. Fali, the target of which Allied forces put up such a bitter fight, is shown a few days after the Canadians entered. Its shell and bomb-shattered streets and buildings bearing mute testimony to the terrific pounding the city had received from both friend and foe. Before the Allies had gained complete mastery, the only opposition remaining came from isolated elements of German armored and infantry divisions, which sought to keep the pincers open in an effort to extract slower-moving infantry. Below, British infantrymen moved cautiously through the wreckage of buildings in a town on the road of Boulogne. So yeah, this city, you look at it, it's just complete rubble. Some of the buildings are still standing, but not really. Just parts of them. Absolute destruction. And you can look here too. Look, more destruction. France has been hit hard by this. There's a lot of rebuilding that will need to take place, and it will. But it's just unfortunate. The fight for a Jade Center in Burma. August 30th, 1944. Tengchong is sought after by the Allies. This picture gives an idea of the heavy fighting that went on before this great center of jade industry fell to the Allies early in September. This ancient center of Chinese culture was the first city east of Burma to be liberated by the Allies. As the 5th year of the war drew to a close, bloody warfare for the center was still going on. So you can see there's a lot of destruction here. It's just awful. Obviously, they're trying to show, so it was a big center for jade trade and really important, and now look at it. It's just rubble. Kind of showing that things can be easily destroyed, and it takes us to rebuild them to make them great again. Nazi torture chambers unearthed in Paris. August 31st, 1944, where Germans amuse themselves. This torture chamber, top, being inspected by FFI men and Paris police, was found in the rear of the French Ministry of Aviation building. It was formerly a rifle range and was converted into a soundproof, fireproof chamber where prisoners were either burned alive or tied to the pillars and shot, then buried in a common grave. As shown in the picture below, FFI men are examining the reopened graves. 4 boxes containing as many bodies are shown beside the common grave. Yep, so the German atrocities are starting to be unearthed. This is one of them. It's pretty awful. You can see some of that, and the boxes. There's going to be a lot of this uncovered. It's really sad, truthfully, what happened in a lot of these places. Heartbreaking. Chateau Thierry and its liberator. August 31st, 1944. Memento of another war. Having cleared all the Germans from the scene between Paris and Troyes, the American troops began to move north and east to flank the German retreat route from the Channel coast to Belgium and Germany. Not until Laon was reached was it revealed that the Americans' First Army, under Lieutenant General Courtney H. Hodges, right? Where's Hodges? was responsible for the thrust in the center, which recaptured so many places made famous in the last war, including Chateau Thierry and Soissons. I don't think I pronounced that right, but I tried. Which fell without a fight. In the picture above, dwarfed by its hugeness, 3 American soldiers stand and look at the monument high on a hill overlooking Chateau Thierry, which was erected by the United States as a memorial to American doughboys and French soldiers who fought in that area during the First World War. The memorial has been untouched by this war. That's really nice. For a lot of these guys, I'm sure that was something that they didn't want to have to do because, this is their fathers, some of them. It's their father's generation, things like that. It means a lot to them. And I think even Hitler himself probably didn't want to destroy these because, while he didn't necessarily like the First World War, he wasn't completely devoid of the honor for some of the soldiers who fought in it, being a soldier that fought in it himself. Mail for the Pacific. August 1944. Navy mail gets through. This towering stack of mailbags on a dock at Espiritu Santo indicates the folks at home have responded to the urging of those who see mail from home as a great morale builder. This allotment, only a part of that designated for the Pacific base, is scheduled for Christmas delivery. The bulgings in the sacks give promise of many gift packages. Yeah, the boys, obviously, they're happy to get all these packages. This is great. And especially, for Christmas time stuff, they'd be like, oh, I'm not home, but still get that little bit of Christmas spirit. And definitely a big morale boost. A lot of these soldiers, this is the first time being away from home this long. Things like that. It probably did suck and things like that. But they were fighting for what they thought was a good cause. What was a good cause? So if they could get some kind of appreciation from back home or something like that, I'm sure it was a great deal of happiness to them. But with that, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I can improve on. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.